Let me ask you something serious. Right now, at this very moment, do you have a goal, a dream, something you told yourself you would achieve someday? Maybe it is a business. Maybe it is losing weight. Maybe it is buying a house or building something that people around you would be proud of. And if you are honest with yourself, how long have you been saying someday? 1 year? 2 years? 5 years? Here is what no one tells you. The problem is not that you lack time. The problem is not that you lack money. The problem is not even that you lack talent. The real problem, you are not obsessed enough. The people who actually win in life, in business, in fitness, in relationships, they do not just want their goals. They are consumed by them. They think about them when they wake up. They think about them when they fall asleep. Every single decision they make is filtered through one question. Does this take me closer to my goal or further away? Today, we are going to talk about that level of obsession. And by the end of this video, you are going to understand exactly what separates the people who just dream from the people who actually build. Stay with me, because what I'm about to share in the next 30 minutes might completely change the way you live your life. Let us be real for a second. The world is full of people who have goals. Almost everyone has them. Ask anyone on the street, do you have a goal? And they will say yes. A better life, more money, a healthier body, more freedom. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Most of those people will never reach those goals. Not because they're lazy, not because they're not smart enough, but because there is a crucial difference between having a goal and being obsessed with the goal. This book is for the person who is tired of being average. It is for the person who has tried motivational videos, who has read self-help books, who has written goals in journals and still feels stuck. It is for someone who is ready to stop playing small. And here is the biggest mistake that most people make. They treat their goals like wishes. They write them down on New Year's Eve, they feel excited for 2 weeks, and then life gets in the way and those goals quietly disappear. The book we are exploring today gives us a completely different framework. It teaches us that goals are not things you wish for, they are things you engineer. And the first step in that engineering process is a mental shift so powerful, it changes everything. Let me take you through the 4 core ideas that form the backbone of this entire mindset. Most people hear the word obsession and immediately think it's negative. They think of someone who cannot stop, someone who is unhealthy, someone who has gone too far. But that thinking is exactly what's keeping you stuck. The greatest achievers in human history were obsessed, every single one of them, not with random things, but with their mission, with their craft, with the outcome they were working toward. Here's what obsession actually is when we define it correctly. Obsession is the state where your goal becomes so real in your mind that not achieving it feels more uncomfortable than doing the work required to achieve it. Read that again. Let it sink in. Most people are more comfortable staying in their comfort zone than they are with the discomfort of growth. But obsessed people flip that equation. For them, not working on their goal is the painful option. The story of the 2 brothers. Imagine 2 brothers. Both of them grow up in the same house, same neighborhood, same circumstances. Let's call them Raj and Arjun. Both of them want to start a business. Both of them dream of financial freedom. Both of them say they want it. But Raj comes home after his 9-to-5 job, eats dinner, watches 2 hours of television, scrolls through social media for another hour, and goes to sleep. He tells himself, I am tired. I will work on my business on the weekend. Arjun comes home and does the exact same things. For the first 2 weeks, then something clicks. He starts reading about his industry at lunch. He starts sketching out ideas in the morning before work. He starts saying no to Friday night outings because he's building something. 3 years later, Raj is still at the same job, still saying someday. Arjun has built a business that generates income while he sleeps. What was the difference? It was not talent. It was not luck. It was obsession. Arjun flipped the switch, and once you flip that switch, you cannot go back. The common mistake. Here's what most people do wrong. They confuse motivation with obsession. Motivation is how you feel on a good day. It comes and goes like the weather. You watch a motivational video, you feel pumped for 24 hours, and then it fades. Obsession is different. Obsession does not depend on how you feel. It's a deep internal drive that keeps going even when you're tired, even when results are slow, even when people around you think you are wasting your time. Write down your number 1 goal right now. Then ask yourself, on a scale of 1 to 10, how obsessed am I with this goal? If your answer is below 8, we have work to do. The rest of this video will show you how. By the end of this video, you will have a 7-day action plan designed to ignite your obsession and finally start moving. Stay with me. You cannot outperform your identity. Here's a question that will change the way you think about goals forever. Who do you believe you are? Not what do you want, not what you are trying to achieve. Who do you actually, deep down, believe yourself to be? Because here is the truth. Your behaviors will always align with your identity. Always. No exceptions. If you believe deep down that you are someone who isn't good with money, you will keep making financial decisions that prove that belief right. If you believe you are someone who cannot stick to a routine, you will keep breaking every routine you try to build. This is one of the most profound and underappreciated truths in personal development. Your brain is not trying to make you successful. Your brain is trying to make you consistent with who you believe you are. The thermostat analogy. Think about a thermostat in your home. You set it to a certain temperature, let's say 22 degrees. If the room gets too cold, the heater turns on. If the room gets too hot, the AC kicks in. Either way, the room always comes back to 22 degrees. Your identity works exactly like a thermostat. If your identity says, I am an average person, then every time life pushes you above average, a promotion, a big opportunity, a sudden success, your internal thermostat kicks in and pulls you back down. You self-sabotage, you procrastinate, you talk yourself out of it. And the reverse is also true. If your identity says, I am a builder, I'm someone who figures things out, I'm someone who gets results, then even when things go wrong, even when you fail, you will keep coming back because winners always find a way to reset to their identity level. How to change the thermostat. So how do you raise your identity level? How do you become the person who naturally achieves big goals? The answer is deceptively simple but profoundly powerful. You start acting like that person before you feel like that person. This sounds almost too simple, but think about it. Most people wait. They say, when I have more money, I will start investing. Or when I feel confident, I will start the business. Or when I am less busy, I will start working on my health. The secret is that day never comes. The feeling comes after the action, not before. Obsessed people understand this. They decide who they want to be, and then they make one small decision every single day that is aligned with that identity. They vote for themselves, one behavior at a time. Connecting this to money and career. Let's make this real. Think about someone who wants to double their income. A person with an average identity will think, I need to find a better job. They send out resumes, they wait, they hope. A person with an obsessed identity will think, what does someone who earns double my income do every single morning? What skills do they have? What conversations do they have? What books do they read? What risks do they take? And then they start doing those things. Not perfectly, not all at once, but consistently, one day at a time. And here's the wild part. As they change their behaviors to match the identity they want, their brain starts to believe it. The identity updates, the thermostat rises, and results follow. Here's something most people get completely wrong about success, and it's not what you think. We will cover that in the next section. Do not skip it. Your biggest enemy is not failure, it's distraction. Let me share something uncomfortable with you. Most people are not failing because they are incapable. They are failing because they are distracted. And here's the thing, they don't even realize it, because today's world is designed, engineered, and optimized to steal your attention. Every app on your phone has a team of brilliant engineers whose entire job is to make you spend more time on that app. Every notification, every swipe, every infinite scroll, it's all designed to keep you engaged. And while you are engaged with everyone else's content, you are not creating your own life. This is the psychological insight that separates winners from average people. Winners protect their attention like it is their most valuable resource, because it is. The uncomfortable truth about your scrolling habit. Here's a number that will shock you. The average person spends over 3 hours a day on social media. 3 hours. That's over 1,000 hours a year. Now think about this. If you took just half of that time, 500 hours a year, and spent it building a skill, starting a project, learning about your industry, building relationships that matter, what would your life look like in 5 years? The answer is unrecognizable. But here is the subtle and uncomfortable truth. Most people use social media and entertainment not because they want to, but because they are avoiding something. They are avoiding the discomfort of sitting with a difficult task. They are avoiding the fear of starting and failing. They are avoiding the uncertainty of growth. And this avoidance feels like rest. It feels like a break, but it is actually a slow, comfortable way of staying exactly where you are. What obsessed people do differently? Obsessed people are not perfect. They get distracted too. They have bad days. They pick up their phone when they shouldn't. The difference is how quickly they catch themselves and return. Think of it like a meditation practice. In meditation, the goal is not to have zero thoughts. The goal is to notice when your mind has wandered and gently bring it back, again and again, without judgment. The same is true with obsession and focus. You will get distracted. The question is, how quickly do you notice and return? Obsessed people have what we might call a short recovery time. They get pulled off course, and within minutes or hours, they are back. Average people get pulled off course, and it takes days, weeks, or months to return. The psychological insight. Here's the deeper psychological truth. Your brain is wired for the path of least resistance. That's not a character flaw, that's evolution. Your brain is trying to conserve energy. But you are not living in the savannah 10,000 years ago. You are living in a world where the biggest rewards go to those who can do the difficult, uncomfortable thing that most people avoid. So you have to consciously and deliberately design your environment so that the difficult thing becomes the easy thing. You have to make distraction harder and focused work easier. This means putting your phone in another room when you work. It means turning off notifications. It means having a specific time and place where you work on your goal every single day. It means telling the people around you what you're building so they understand your boundaries. It means making a decision that your future matters more than today's entertainment. For the next 7 days, track exactly how you spend your time in 30-minute blocks. Not to judge yourself, just to see the truth. Most people have no idea where their time actually goes. Once you see it clearly, you will never look at a 3-hour social media session the same way again.
I want to tell you about a phenomenon that is so common, so heartbreaking, and so unnecessary. It is called quitting too early. Almost every person who has ever failed to achieve a major goal did not fail because they were incapable. They failed because they stopped. And in most cases, they stopped when they were closer to the breakthrough than they realized. Think about a piece of ice sitting at 31 degrees Fahrenheit. You could stare at it for hours. It is sitting there, cold, frozen, showing no signs of change. But the moment the temperature rises to 33 degrees, just 2 degrees more, it starts to melt. 2 degrees, after all that time. The ice was not doing nothing during those hours. The molecules were moving. The energy was building. You just could not see it from the outside. Your goals work the same way. The deep lesson most summaries miss? Here is what most people get wrong about persistence. They think persistence means grinding endlessly without reflecting. That is not persistence. That is stubbornness. True persistence, the kind that actually leads to results, combines relentless effort with regular reflection and adjustment. Obsessed people do not just work hard. They work hard, and then they step back and ask, is this working? What do I need to adjust? What am I learning from this? How can I get better? They are in a constant loop of execute, reflect, adjust, repeat. This is fundamentally different from someone who just keeps doing the same thing expecting different results, which, as we all know, is a definition of madness. How people misuse the concept of obsession. Now, here's where many people go wrong with this concept. They turn obsession into burnout. They hear about obsession and they think it means no sleep, no rest, hustle 24/7, sacrifice everything. And for a short while, that surge of energy feels amazing. They're working 16-hour days, they feel unstoppable. Then, 3 weeks later, they crash. They burn out. They feel empty. They start to resent the very goal they were chasing, and they swing to the opposite extreme, doing nothing at all. This is the trap. This is the misuse of obsession. Real, sustainable obsession is not about intensity, it's about consistency. It's about showing up every single day, even on the slow days, even on the boring days, even when no one is watching and nothing feels exciting. The goal is not to sprint until you collapse. The goal is to find a pace you can sustain for years, because the biggest achievements in life are not built in 90-day sprints. They are built across years and decades of consistent, directed effort. The correct way to apply this. So here is the correct framework for long-game obsession. First, define your North Star. What is the one outcome that if you achieved it in the next 3 to 5 years would change everything? Not 5 things, 1 thing. Second, reverse engineer it. If that is where you want to be in 3 years, what does this year need to look like? If that is what this year needs to look like, what does this month need to look like? What does this week need to look like? What does today need to look like? Third, show up for today. Just today. You don't have to figure out the entire journey. You just have to take the next step. Fourth, review and adjust monthly. Look at what worked, look at what did not. Be honest with yourself. Make changes. Keep moving. Fifth, protect your vision from other people's doubt. When you are playing the long game, there will be people, friends, family, colleagues, who don't understand what you are building. And because they don't understand it, they will question it. They will call it unrealistic. They will worry about you. Love them, but don't let their fear become your ceiling. We are almost at the most practical part of this entire video. In just a moment, I am going to give you a day-by-day plan to start applying everything we have talked about, starting tomorrow. All right, knowledge without action is just entertainment. So let's talk about execution.
Here is your 7-day plan to start activating obsession in your real life. These are simple, daily habits. Do not overcomplicate them. Just do them. Day 1, Clarity Day. Take 30 minutes today and write down in complete detail what your number 1 goal is. Not vague, specific. Not, I want to be rich. Instead, I want to build a business that generates 100,000 rupees per month in revenue within 24 months by selling specific product or service to specific audience. Clarity is the beginning of obsession. You cannot be obsessed with a blur. Day 2, Identity Day. Write down who you need to become to achieve the goal you defined on day 1. What does that version of you read? How does that version of you spend their mornings? What skills do they have? What habits do they practice? Then pick one behavior from that list and commit to doing it starting today. Day 3, Audit Day. Track every single 30-minute block of your day, from the moment you wake up to the moment you go to sleep. Be brutally honest. Where is your time actually going? This audit will show you your real priorities, not the ones you say out loud, but the ones you demonstrate with your time. Day 4, Environment Day. Redesign your environment for focus. Remove your most distracting apps from your phone's home screen. Set up a specific workspace, even if it's just a corner of a room. Tell the people around you what you are working on and ask for their support. Your environment is either working for you or against you. Make it work for you. Day 5, Deep Work Day. Do your first intentional deep work session. Block 90 minutes, just 90 minutes, where you work on your goal with 0 distractions. Phone off, notifications silenced, nothing but you and your work. This single habit done consistently will change your life more than any other productivity strategy. Day 6, Reflection Day. Look back at the past 5 days. What did you learn about yourself? Where did you struggle? Where did you surprise yourself? Reflection is not a soft, optional step. It's a core part of the system. The people who grow fastest are the people who reflect most honestly. Day 7, Commitment Day. Make a 90-day commitment. Write it down, sign it. Take a photo of it, share it with someone you trust, or post it in the comments below this video. Declare what you are going to build in the next 90 days. Make it public, make it real, make it matter. Accountability is not a weakness. It's the secret weapon of every high achiever. I want to leave you with one final thought, and I want you to really sit with this. Most people spend their entire lives waiting to feel ready. Waiting for the right moment, waiting for more money, more confidence, more time, more permission. But here is the brutal, beautiful truth. Readiness is not something that happens to you. It's something you decide. The moment you decide that your goal matters more than your excuses, that is the moment your life changes. Not when you have figured everything out. Not when circumstances are perfect. Right now, with what you have, where you are. I want you to think about the older version of yourself. The one who is 10 years from now, looking back at this exact moment. What does that person want you to do right now? What choices do they wish you had made today? Because that older version of you exists in one of 2 realities. In one reality, you kept waiting. You kept saying someday. You kept choosing comfort over growth. And 10 years passed and you are still in the same place. Maybe a little older, a little more tired, and carrying the quiet weight of what could have been. In the other reality, you made a different choice. Maybe it was small. Maybe it was just closing this video and writing down your goal for the first time with real intention. Maybe it was committing to the 7-day plan. Maybe it was just deciding, today, that you are no longer the person who quits. And from that small choice, everything began to change. Obsession is not born in stadiums or on stages. It's born in quiet moments, in private decisions, in the choices no one sees. This is your quiet moment. This is your private decision. What are you going to do with it? If this video gave you even one idea that shifted your thinking, please don't let it stay in your head. Take action. Share it. Apply it. Hit the like button right now. It helps more people find this content. And that, in turn, helps more people change their lives. If you're not subscribed yet, subscribe right now. Because every week we go deep on the ideas that actually move the needle in your life. Mindset, money, growth, and execution. And most importantly, I want to hear from you. Drop a comment below and tell me, what was your single biggest takeaway from this video? Was it the obsession switch, the identity thermostat, the distraction war, the long game, or the 7-day plan? Whatever it was, write it down, because the act of writing it makes it real. I'll see you in the next one. Keep building. Stay obsessed.